All right, let's call the Blanco County Commissioners Court to order. This Tuesday, February the 11th, 2025, and ask Ms. Wall to call the roll.
Judge Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Weaver. Here. Commissioner Eager. Commissioner Leisman.
Here.
Commissioner Riley.
Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Would you, can you add lib?
Absolutely.
Would you add Commissioner Riley in it for safe travels?
Yes.
Gonna be gone for a while. And would you add Ms. Ashby? Just because.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, thank you, mighty Savior, for the blessing of this day. We pray for Commissioner Riley to have safe travels while he is away. We also pray for the Ashby family and their loss during this time. Please give the Commissioner and the Ashby family guidance to keep them safe, to make the steps and the plans that they need that are best for them during these times. In a world filled with so many critics, may we be an encourager. Father, guide us to affirm each other. Help us to magnify the strengths in each other instead of the weaknesses. Because kindness is not an act, but a reflection of our soul. Help us to practice grace in everything we do. We thank you, and we pray this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Ashby, I didn't anticipate you being here this morning, so on behalf of all of Blanco County, please accept our condolences. I guess that I've seen public comment. I guess that moves us to item number 1, your consideration of the minutes of the regular meeting of the last meeting in January, as well as the workshop.
I move to dispense with the reading of the January 28th, 2025 minutes, and to accept the minutes as presented, and also the workshop.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Payroll.
Make a motion to approve the estimated February 2025 payroll in the amount of $595,388.81.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Weir beat you.
Good.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All official reports are almost all in. The JP4 is now in. My sticky is misinformed. So all reports are available for your inspection and perusal and subject to your approval at this point.
I move to accept the official reports for January 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Leesman, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There are no line item transfers to consider, so we'll pass number 4 and move to number 5.
I'll make a motion to ratify the outstanding bills in the amount of $8,215.81 and approve the outstanding bills in the amount of $127,849.61.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Lear again. You're on the ball today. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, of course, it's self-explanatory that it's a proclamation to honor George Washington, as this court has done most every year. But we are, excuse me, so happy and so blessed to have Mr. Rudy actually as part of our community and his lovely wife. And remind us each year and vividly remind us of the great accomplishments of our first president. Mr. Rudy, you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Aaron. Commissioner, citizens, good morning. My name is Blair Rudy, recent past president of the San Antonio chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution. That past president's a really nice pin. And that reminds me of a legacy that George Washington did for us that remains active today. After 2 terms as president of the United States in 1797, he decided not to run for a 3rd term. When King George III was made aware of that information, I guess the text reached 85 or something. He was just astounded. At that time, leaders never gave up control, never gave up power. And I'm sure George Washington didn't think of it as power and control, as responsibility, but he stepped down. He only survived another 2 years of retirement before his passing in December of '99. But we also then this last month also saw peaceful transition of power for our executive and legislative branches of the national government as well as around the world. That legacy is directly responsible, in my opinion, from a historical and visceral standpoint that we are seeing what George Washington had done for us. I wish to thank the court and the judge for proclaiming February 22nd as George Washington's birthday. He would be 192 years old if he were. This is 192nd birthday. Wow. Next year we begin our 250th anniversary in 1776 to 2026. There'll be a lot going on, and we'll be back in touch with the county and hopefully be part of the county celebration of our national 250th year. So on behalf of the Sons of the American Revolution, thank you for this proclamation.
Next year,
Yes, sir.
when you come back, I think we should redo that math because I can't make that work in my head. 292 is probably probably closer to 292.
292. 292.
Plus or minus.
Okay, yeah, don't just pull that one out of the socks wrong.
Anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this for our county.
There's 250.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this for our county.
And we'll do more. We're gonna read the Constitution again in September. That we'll make more about that.
And I put you with Ms. Harrison this morning. Are you thinking about having a role in the plaque the Alamo plaque that?
Absolutely. I was telling Ms. Connie that we'd be happy to try to get a photograph together if possible. We got guys who made the trip. We did it at the veterans thing up here. That was quite impressive. Yes, we're happy to be engaged with the county for that process. Absolutely. So along with the DAR response.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Does anyone care to make a motion adopting the proclamation?
I move to proclaim and to approve the proclamation declaring February 22nd, 2025 as George Washington Day in Blanco County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Who's up? Who's up? Who's up?
Thank you, sir.
Takes us to item 7. And we're privileged to have Ms. Pickering here today. It's an unusual treat.
Yeah, good morning, Judge, Commissioners, other county officials that are here in the courtroom today. Thank you for having me today. I feel like, I know I'm short, but this is kind of hard. Anyway, so I don't get to present in front of y'all very often because y'all have such wonderful taxpayers that we really don't have to file that many delinquent tax lawsuits here in Blanco County. The ones that we do file, the majority of them pay. And those that don't end up paying will end up in a tax sale. Just by way of background for the audience, my name is Carrie Dupering. I'm an attorney with the Linewater Law Firm. Our law firm has represented all the taxing entities in Blanco County in the collection of delinquent property taxes and any litigation they ensue for over 30 years. So we appreciate your loyalty to the firm and to me. I've worked out here for 22 years plus. So we do appreciate everything y'all do for us as well. So as part of our delinquent tax collection process, we really do try to reach out personally to your delinquent taxpayers. It's not the big bad wolf out there just foreclosing on old people's homes and selling them. It doesn't work that way at all. In fact, we do try to work with your taxpayers. If anyone is eligible for an exemption or even a property tax deferral, we try to help them obtain that through the appraisal district. I do have to pat the appraisal district on the back. I know not everyone agrees politically with what goes on with appraisal districts, but Candace Fry, the chief appraiser, has a wonderful staff. And that is very rare in the appraisal district industry. Those jobs are very difficult to fill. I work with appraisal districts that have not had a chief appraiser full-time employee in years. They just can't hire anybody. All of the folks that work over there have to go through years of training. It's a very difficult job, even just for your basic staff over there. So Candace has done a great job of sending the folks to school, making sure there's coverage in the office when they're gone. They're just wonderful. They're my best one as far as the mom getting along and being employed there for a number of years. So kudos to Candace. So also as part of our collection process, besides trying to reach out via email, phone calls, the law firm does subscribe to pretty extensive skip tracing and address research tools that enable us to locate different addresses for people, phone numbers, cell phone numbers, email address, all of that. We do try to resort to reaching out personally before we ever file a lawsuit in district court right here in Blanco County. However, some folks are stubborn and simply won't pay their taxes, or more often than not, we have property owners that are deceased and the property has passed down to their heirs, and their heirs no longer desire to pay the property taxes in order to keep the property. So I would say that's the majority of the delinquent tax properties that end up in a tax suit are those types of situations. Having said that, once a lawsuit is filed, it takes about a year for the litigation process to be completed. And once the case is ready for trial, we set the case for trial right here in Blanco County, right over there on the other side of the wall. We take a judgment. The judgment forecloses the tax liens and authorizes the taxing entities to sell the property at a public tax sale. So again, most of y'all pay before it gets to a tax sale situation, but occasionally they don't. And I would say we probably conduct 2 tax sales in Blanco County per year. We were going to do one this month, but we only had 2 properties. So just as far as saving all that manpower and labor and trouble over at the sheriff's office, we decided just to wait and consolidate for a sale probably in May. So we'll have a nice little sale going in May. At the tax sale, we seek what's called the minimum bid. I'm going to keep this simple. The minimum bid includes all the back taxes and any court costs, abstract fees, attorney advisor fees, etc. that are all rolled into this tax case. So let's say, for example, the minimum bid is $100. However, we have a lot of competitive bidding here in Blanco County, even though there's been a little bit of a dip in the real estate market in the Hill Country over the past couple of years. That has not affected our tax sales at all, or the bidding at our tax sales. We always have competitive bidding. So let's say our minimum bid is 100, we have competitive bidding, and the highest bid is $200. That extra $100 is deposited in the registry of the court, in other words, the district clerk's office, and that $100 is called tax sale excess proceeds. That money is kept on file with Ms. Doyle's office, the district clerk's office, for up to 2 years. Within that 2-year time frame, a former defendant or any former lien holders can petition the court for distribution of that excess, or in this example, that extra $100. If at the end of 2 years, no one has petitioned the court for distribution of the excess, I go back in on behalf of all the taxing entities and seek an order from the court distributing that extra money back to the taxing entities. So that's why I'm here today. We had a recent tax disbursement, and so I'm here today to present Blanco County with a check for $4,084.91.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, as part of the same disbursement, Blanco ISD is receiving $12,741.52. The Water District is receiving $248.89, and ESD number 2 is receiving $1,067.79.
So Ms. Swift isn't here today, so on her behalf, I think you can hand it to the auditor.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, also there, the checks for the Water District and ESD are in the envelopes. I don't know if can you get them to me? And I'll be over at Blanco ISD School Board meeting. I think it's in 2 weeks. Anyway, soon to distribute your 12,000 plus to them. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do, but I'll wait till you. Now we got the money taken care of. Well, first of all, one is not a question, but a comment that I'm absolutely sure you intended. Yes, Ms. Fry has excellent staff and she's done a great job of staying. Ms. Fry herself is equally noteworthy. She's quite an executive.
Absolutely.
So, and I personally am very privileged to work with her.
Okay.
So I hope you see her as a chief appraiser as your best in your region.
For sure. Yeah, she's awesome.
And then question I have is, putting aside delinquent tax sales and that sort of thing, the bigger things that I see that maybe involve more money tend to be the few companies that are in Blanco County that have a lot of business property, sometimes tend to want to debate the value. If that debate goes to court.
It can.
And are you our representatives on those?
No.
Who represents us on those?
Right, so the first process is that property owner or business owner should file a protest.
Mhm.
And so the appraisal notices go out typically at the end of April or in May to all property owners, advising them of their appraised value. And then the property owner has the right to file a protest to protest that value that the appraisal district has placed on their property. And protests continue pretty much June, July. Candace is so efficient, she gets them done like that. But they typically handle around 1,000 protests, I think, sometimes more. So the attorney, so they have a separate attorney that handles all that. His name is Jim Evans. I've known Jim for the whole time I've worked for Linemarker. He's a wonderful attorney, super smart.
That's what he does.
That's what he does, yeah. And also, so if a property owner is not satisfied with the results of their hearing at their protest before the appraisal review board, they do have the opportunity or the right under the tax code to file a lawsuit in district court protesting that value. So it can go all the way up to the district court level. And of course, any property tax accounts that are under appraisal review or that do end up being under suit in district court challenging that value, we were prohibited from pursuing collecting delinquent taxes on those. We just put those on hold until it's all resolved.
And how long have you been doing this for us?
I started with the law firm in 2002, and I've been working in Lake County off and on, granted, but never gone for more than a year or two at a time. The firm does shuffle people around occasionally, but I'm not going. So,
And there's really, I'll stop here, but there's really three primary firms that kind of do this stuff, and yours is the largest, isn't it?
correct.
By far.
We have offices nationwide.
Yeah.
Not all delinquent tax. We do collect delinquent municipal court fees and fines and delinquent justice of the peace court fees and fines. So most of our nationwide offices focus on those types of collections and tolls. We also have a whole toll division that handles delinquent toll payers, payer tolls. Those adequate.
Anything else?
No, Judge. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for
Any
coming.
questions for anybody on that one? Okay, well,
Thank
thank
you.
y'all. All
Thanks so
right,
much.
we'll see you soon. I'll see Commissioner Dixon and.
I don't, if we have it listed as an action item, there's really no action to take. We're just
Right,
proceeding.
yeah. All right, thank y'all.
Commissioners, moving to item 8, is Lindsay Guthrie or Lisa Petrie in the room? I didn't think so. I think I recognized everybody that's here, and I don't see Catherine Rutherford either. So, commissioners, I guess you're gonna have to go on what's in the documentation that's in your folder and consider the appointment of Lindsay Guthrie and Lisa Petrie to the Blanco County Child Protection and Family Advocacy Board.
I move to appoint Lindsay Guthrie and Lisa Petrie to the Blanco County Child Protection and Family Advocacy Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Leisman, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 9. Again, kind of self-explanatory, there is a movement afoot to eliminate countywide polling. I guess I could put personal views into it, or personal observations, that it seems to be based on from the folks that generally want to do pencils and paper ballots. I don't know. I personally think it's a misguided attempt by the legislature, regardless of party, to lump Blanco County and Vernon County and Llano County in with Harris County, and they're two totally different animals. And I personally view countywide polling as having been a success out here. It works out here, and it's a benefit to the citizens. But I don't know if that's true everywhere in Texas, and I will give this, that the legislature has a yeoman's task trying to figure all that out. But with that said, we have been asked to, and you have the resolution before you, to adopt a resolution as have many rural counties in Texas, opposing the elimination of countywide polling.
I make a motion to authorize the signatures on the resolution opposing the elimination of countywide polling places program for Blanco County.
Is there a second?
I'll say,
Commissioner Weir, and discussion.
not sure, I think it benefits the rural counties quite a bit. There's a lot of travel time between polling sites, and it has definitely helped Blanco County. I can see in the urban areas where it might be a different thing, like you said, Harris County, a lot more populated areas. But as far as these rural counties and heading west, farther we go, they can take full advantage of this, and it's a valuable tool, I think, to vote.
Well, I mean, not to argue with you, but even eastern counties, you get in those piney woods, and sometimes it's a lot more convenient to go one way than the other, for whatever reason. And if I wanted to vote wherever I'm going to vote in the county, it's nice to be able to do that. Anything else? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, the racial profiling report for the county attorney's office. I don't see Mr. Applon, but Ms. Ashby's here. I suppose we had wild questions we can ask her, but generally speaking, we're asking that you acknowledge the report.
Move to acknowledge the racial profiling report for the county attorney's office.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Leesman, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think you have, do they have this? They do not.
No.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll pass this around. That's a recent report of how our system is operating and relates to item 11. As you know, we have budgeted a full-time IT. It says director. I think of it more as an administrator, but whatever you want to call it. We presently are still operating under contract with Health Tree IT. No. Get a correct name. And it's for everyone's benefit. The difficulties that we have found ourselves in over time, and probably even the dissatisfaction by some departments, is really all on me. And I would like to give a history lesson. And we hired Mr. Nagel, and as when I say hired, I don't mean as employee, but we engaged him in 2016. When we did so, and if you think back to 2016, I don't even know how many fewer deputies, dispatchers, investigators, just one department has grown. All the departments have grown. We didn't have 2 tax offices. A lot of things have changed since 2016, and particularly in the technology. And in 2016, I was following sort of the plan that Blanco County had been on for a long time, which is we had a vendor contractor, and we tried to keep the cost down. And in doing so, the directions that Mr. Nagel had was 29 hours per month and nothing more, no matter what. And I don't know, maybe that even worked back then, but that's a little over, it's barely over 7 hours a week, and it just didn't work, and I never got caught up with it. And in the process, I think Mr. Nagel was just not able to do all of the things that we kept asking him to do. The list just kept getting longer. He was unable to have any sort of interaction with department heads or employees because he was too busy trying to get whatever the job was done and get on, so that he stayed under his 29 hours per month. And then we had the audit by SQL and found quite a few challenges and issues. And so sometime in the fall, October or so, I made the decision to just relieve him of that 29-hour obligation and do whatever it took to get us in compliance and get the audit issues fixed. get people up to date in their computers. And he's been doing that. And I think we have worked through all or substantially all of the audit findings. And in fact, he's worked with the auditors to make sure that we resolve whatever might have been an issue. The fees, I was looking this morning, and we're spending roughly, just as an average, about $9,000 a month on him. And by the way, that's at $75 an hour. I challenge anybody to find us an IT person for less per hour, because I don't know. So he is interested and agreeable and willing to come on. We've had this discussion before. We had it during budgeting. Come on as a full-time employee. Today, he's not spending 40 hours a week, but he's probably spending 22 or 24 hours a week, somewhere in there, maybe a little more. And he's willing to come on at the price that we budgeted for him during the last budget session, which is a little less than what we're paying, unless you count in, frankly, it probably all washes out if you count in benefits. Probably is about the same, but he would become a 40-hour employee. I've been thinking about it, obviously, because I put it on the agenda, and I feel like even though it's going to wind up being one person's decision to hire or don't hire, I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to have this discussion with the court because I think it mattered, because this is kind of like a department, and so the court probably has should have as much say in a department's future as anybody. There are still people in departments in Blanco County that are dissatisfied with him, and there are people in departments that are quite satisfied with him. I don't know how to fix that, because I don't know if we'll ever find anybody that's going to make everybody happy all the time. So we're approaching March, which is the half-year mark, the 6-month mark in the budget, and it seems to me that it's a good point to be thinking about whether or not we want to go ahead and hire him on as an employee. Probably get more hours and maybe even a little firmer direction control on him, or leave it like it is. I can tell you that while I haven't had any personal conversations with him about this, I think I'm aware that there's the potential that we could lose him altogether. And that's as a vendor and as an employee, or as a potential employee, excuse me. So I wound up, after some additional conversations yesterday with more people and just thinking about it, I'm still unclear what to do. And I'm not sure that, I almost wanted to skip this item, but decided not to, and am unsure what to do, but would like to at least hear from commissioners, because this is a matter that is important to the future of the operations of the entire county. I'll stop there.
To bring him on full time, what will the cost difference be from what we're paying him now to having him at our disposal on a more frequent basis?
I can't give you a to the penny, but right now it appears that we're spending over 9,000 a month in his hour. And by the way, I've looked at his billing pretty carefully, and I can't find anything that seems, I'm not an IT expert, but I can't find anything that looks like it's unreasonable. We would be paying him 5,000 a month as an employee, but there's a benefits package. So I don't know if it would reach the 9,000 mark, but it probably get close because we have a pretty good benefits package.
But then we'd have him for more hours too.
Quite a few more hours. Yeah, like as many as 10 to 20 a week.
What did the sheriff's department audit say?
What?
The sheriff's department audit, when they audited the sheriff's or audited all that, what he did, how did that report come back?
Well, I'm not sure. There's two different things that happened. There was a general audit of the whole county. And that was over the summer. That was over last summer, last spring, and into the fall, and the ultimate report. And then prior to that, there was the breach incident, and there was I guess a sort of a DPS audit of that, if you will, and some findings there. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
That's the one that just wrapped up here recently.
It found quite a number of things. We had a lot of machines that were older, and we even had a couple that were on Windows 7, and some of those machines were either at their end of life or beyond their end of life, and weren't going to be supported with Windows 11 or whatever. So those kinds of things had not been taken care of. And then there were a lot of things that I can show you. In fact, I thought we did provide you the whole. Okay.
We did, because the recording was even out there for
But it was a couple months ago.
What recording?
last month for the recap.
Oh, yeah, Connie actually made the recording available to you, right? Of the meeting.
No, the sequel folks did and sent it out.
Right.
Yes.
To the commissioner's court? I don't remember seeing anything from them.
Let's go back and look at my emails, but I believe they sent it out to all of y'all. I know they gave it to Shelley and Camille and the sheriff's, and I'm pretty sure that y'all were included in that.
And so maybe that's a great question, because maybe this is going to be a long-term discussion, and maybe we ensure that you all get the recording, get the report, get a full chance to look at it, and then we talk about it some more. I mean, there's no immediate hurry unless we wind up without any IT support, and then of course all things it then becomes an emergency. But for the moment, it's not an emergency. I will tell you that when you look at the report, that almost everything is a check mark. Everything's been done.
So
We turned him loose, I would say, in November and December, and said, fix all of it, and it's all up to speed.
So everything's up to code now.
As far as we know, now there's, for example, Friday or Thursday, we were in a meeting with Miss Early, and her computer was having problems, and we got her in contact, and her phone was out of charge. So we got her in contact with Nagel, and we're getting that fixed, but it came to light that her computer's pretty old. I mean, to me, that's a funny statement, because it's only like 3 or 4 years old, but in laptop worlds, it's kind of old, and it's misbehaving. And so, yeah, IT is never done, and you all know that. But as far as the critical items, the vulnerabilities that SQL found, those have been fixed.
Okay.
And he has continued to work with them as late as last week, yesterday. Because it turns out we have some hours left on our contract with them that we pay for, so that we still get time for. And so he's consulted with them on other things. But with that said, I think it'd be good for you all, I thought you had it, to give the report again, or not, if not the first time, and the recording of the conference call, and then maybe we should come back again to talk about it more. And that would be March, because you'll be gone.
Okay.
And that would be March, which is good, because that is the 6 months time frame anyway.
Okay.
Fair?
Fair enough.
All right.
Judge, are we to assume that if we went a different route and went with a contractor, that all the problems would be fixed from now on? I mean, they're gonna have, no matter what contractor you have, you're gonna have times where you're gonna have some problems within the systems, and it's just the nature of the beast, and I don't see how it would almost be fair to compare one person against somebody that we don't have that much history with, as far as, or is it gonna, things are gonna be any better?
I don't disagree with all that you just said, and I'm biased. I'm pretty satisfied with where he is now. I'm very satisfied with where we were, but we seem to be, and like I said, I take a lot of the blame for that. Because I think to put it in real simple terms, I think I tied his hands. And wasn't able to do the things that needed to be done. That said, I agree with what you said, that anybody else that comes along, we can hire a company for 3 times as much money out of Austin, I guess, or maybe we can get a company for 3 times as much money and spend that money. And I doubt that all IT issues will always be good all the time.
I'm looking forward to hearing the tape.
The other thing is I'm also biased, because I do think that hiring him on possibly saves us a little bit of money, definitely gets us more hours for the buck, and gets us a little more control over his day-to-day activities.
I mean, I don't need him near as much as other departments, but he has come in and repaired our systems and retrofitted them and replaced them, and I'm satisfied. I've talked to the South Annex and those folks, and they seem to be satisfied. So if you fix their problems, addressed them, got it done, and even some of it when he was traveling, he was calling and working on their systems while he was traveling. So I thought that he's showing his effort to keep up with his commitment.
Yeah, I think even the sheriff's office, this past December, he was literally on the highway between here and New Mexico somewhere, and we managed to get something straightened out, I think, with them, which, that's great if we have that kind of. By the way, that is part of the deal for somebody like this. It's kind of like your road maintenance people. Whoever we hire, whether it's him or somebody else, if we're going to hire somebody to do this, when the sheriff's office needs them at 3 in the morning, the fact that he's on an 8 to 5 general schedule means nothing. He has to be there at 3 in the morning to fix it, just like your road people need to be there to put out the road signs or whatever when something bad happens. So, I mean, and just like any other employee, will have to, you would adjust their hours so we don't get into a cop time situation. But the point is, don't think of this as too rigid, like 8 to 5 and then we're out of luck, because that's not the way that agreement would work at all.
But the question I have in that scenario, and I don't want to harp on this because we're talking about it again in March, but if he is on vacation away, then not physically capable of being here, then that's another, something that we just got to think of.
No, that's true, and he was, and he fixed. It doesn't mean he can do that every time, no. But he did fix several problems while he was away. So,
But where you've heard a lot of good from the south end, except for a lot of bad from the north end, from different offices. So it is what it is. And I think looking at this stuff will be great for us to analyze the system and analyze the audit, and we can go from there.
yes, sir.
And the fact that you've heard a lot of bad is why this is on the agenda, and why we're talking about why, just to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I agree.
But I will say that if the discussion keeps going in this way and winds up in a place of, no, he's not the person, then, I definitely intend that other people need to take some responsibility for this, because if you're gonna be unhappy with what we have, then you need to it's kind of like most good managers, don't just come in with problems, come in with a solution.
And there's some solutions that are being worked on, and one was about an $8,000 a month fee for,
Being worked on.
we're looking at different.
Who's looking at it?
Well, I pushed some information to Chief Woodring for, they come off lists or people that are looking at IT departments.
And why is that? Why is that, just you and Chief Woodring? That's what I'm not understanding. There's things going on around here that don't seem to be very inclusive.
The question was he was looking at different aspects moving forward with IT departments. And I just noticed on listserv, the other counties were asking for the same scenario, and I shared the information of the two different IT departments with. In
October or November of this past year, I sat across the table from the sheriff and Chief Woodring, and I said, because they are one of these departments that you say you've heard bad things from and have disappointments. And I said, maybe it's time to split. Maybe IT over there at that department needs to be entirely separate, and you have your own IT person. And they said, oh, no. They didn't want to do that. And the reason they don't want to do it, honestly, and I'm putting words in his mouth, the reason they don't want to do it because it's not, who wants to do that? Who wants to administer an IT department?
No, I understand.
We should have one. If Blanco County can have one, and buy, they should. But I'm just saying that Chief Woodring may have some ideas about good for you if you and he can figure it out, because he hasn't so far. And when I asked him if he would like to take it and run with it, he wasn't in any hurry to do that.
Judge, we have time for me to ask the sheriff.
Anything you want to ask?
Sheriff, with y'all's, when you've hired other people to work on your system, but because of this, have they ever worked with our IT guy?
Hang on a
to resolve
minute,
those
just to be sure, the fair question. He's not hired anybody. The Department of Public Safety came in and assisted with the situation.
And did our IT guy work with him?
To a point. And here's my whole deal. I just want everybody to have access to these audits because it tells what's wrong. And I want everybody to be able to look at it.
All right.
Do I think Chris can do it? Probably, if he follows that. But is he capable of doing the 24/7 at the SO? I don't know. For one, remote access doesn't work. That's a security problem right there. And it's not gonna pass. Come on. If they have security access to our computers. I think everybody needs to be informed of what's going on and look at it. I know people like him. I like him. He's a nice guy. Is he capable of this? He very well could be. But from what the audits are showing, it's not. And we are not as a whole, not as a county, not as a sheriff's office. Can we get there? Yes, they told us how to get there. But let's get there. And we're not there. So I like waiting until March and let's figure it out. Let's have an office. Let's have a workshop with the elected officials and the county office. And let's discuss it. But, I mean, I'm open-minded. I don't think Chris is a bad person. I think Chris could probably do it. But it needs to be a set out in stone, where the job description is, what he's required to, because that's to be able to complete an audit ever in the future. All this stuff has to be made. It has to be done. And what's gonna happen in the future, we have not switched over to that yet.
But he came in and fixed everything.
No, he has not fixed it.
He hasn't fixed everything.
No, we're still way behind on stuff that's required.
So if he comes on board with us, then he's gonna be working with y'all the majority of the time, is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. I mean, there's some other things in the audit that show that, the courthouse and the north annex and south annex are not up to date. A perfect example is an old computer. This stuff, that is IT's job.
Sure.
Is to tell you when this computer needs to be replaced. We've done it on our own for the last 8 years. Any computer that's, we replace it consistently.
Yeah, but for the past 8 years, his hands have been tied to 29 hours, and that's it.
But isn't that something that all he has to do is say that, or a suggestion, these need to be done.
If the time's there, yeah.
That's all he has to do.
Well,
So
I'm saying that's all he has to do, but he has to do it across the county. It's
Well,
not just your
apparently
department.
So I don't know what to take. We got it.
So between now and the March discussion, sooner than later, please.
Right.
I'm assuming that you're getting some of your information through the chief deputy and others in your staff. Can you provide, Connie, can you get them to provide a list of the things that you say aren't done yet? Because I don't want to misrepresent it, and I'm under the impression that it has all been resolved. So I need to know what's not.
Okay. Yes, I can. And I mean, I know he's in there and he's saying 4 hours for a computer for the, I don't know how many we had, TM15, the tough books. Those have to be done, and he's saying 4 hours. They haven't been done, but he's got a schedule to do. So, you know, if they're scheduled, that's fine, but if they're scheduled, they're still not done.
Right, and I don't know that those were in that audit. I thought I heard you say that the things that were in the audit haven't been done, haven't been resolved. So those are the things I'm most interested in, because those are the things that I thought we had checked them all along, and I need to know if we did not.
Are there a bunch of systems that need to be upgraded?
I don't know.
Yeah.
From what the audit said, yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. All right, anything else on this, or can we move to the next one? Then let's move on to replats on item 12.
All right. We have a up here that wants to take to Majestic Hills. Majestic Hills, it's a pretty straightforward replat where they want to take a 12.88 acre and a 10 acre and merge them together. There was a utility easement in there. They have worked with VEC to do away with the utility easement. It was lot 127 and lot 126. I'm making a motion to approve the replat of lots 126 and 127 in Majestic Hill subdivision.
Is there a second?
The new lot will be 126R.
Mr. Riley seconds. Discussion. I don't know that it's a question. I don't know what your observation, whatever. It's just curious to me, because Majestic Hills is one of our newer subdivisions, and then the next item is going to be Cielo Springs. Both of those are kind of large acre, well, those are larger tracts. I'm used to seeing where you're combining little tiny lots and Rock and J together to make a
Yes, sir.
better sized lot. And this just seems peculiar to me. I thought the Majestic Hills was laid out pretty well to start with as far as being a big wide open subdivision.
Well, what happens in Majestic Hills is you have these hilltops that have the best views. Some of them don't have enough room on top of them. I've known that there's been several builders, when they built a home, they had to mill the top off of the hill so that they would have enough room to put the house. So if you look at this particular one, you'll see where the line was crossing right where the house site was. So that tells me there was probably a hill there they're trying to take advantage of, and they can do away with that center line and do that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 13, replat, Cielo Springs.
All right, here's another straightforward replat in Cielo Springs. It's lot 152 and lot 153. And so I make a motion to approve the replat and the new lot to be known as 152A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Leesman, discussion. All in favor, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Release of construction bond. I think you're handling this with Commissioner Eaker. No?
No, but I can.
So he said that Mr. Eager told us that there's not been any forward progress on that.
That's right.
So he wants to pass on it again.
All right. If everyone's agreeable, we'll pass item 14 and move to item 15, the Eden and Pertinellis subdivision, which is another Commissioner Eaker matter. But I'm guessing that we want to pass that one because, no,
No, I think he's good to go on this one.
it just says
Yes.
discussion and action
Yeah.
regarding. It doesn't really say what we're regarding.
I believe he
It's
said
the
this.
plat.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be an approval. So, the concern that, Mr. Eager had earlier was, that Mr. Feasler had some comments, but I'm pretty sure that everything was answered to your satisfaction, so. With that being said, I'll make the motion to approve the plat regarding Eden at Pertinellis subdivision.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir. So hang on, while you're here, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Kevin Sprague, VDI Consulting Engineers. I just wanted to, we're the engineer on the project, and I just want to make sure that the water availability, all that stuff got cleared up.
So that there was a water availability issue that other people know about that I don't know about.
No. They wanted to make sure that there was some question on the report as far as how things were shown, and everything was clear. But I think whenever you actually had to put the agenda out, you were going to make sure everything was clear.
There were some calculations within the water availability report that were incorrect. Just some generic wording was not right, and then there was a paragraph that needed to be on the plat regarding the water availability that they did get fixed.
Is it a standard paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a letter from Mr. Feasler right here stating that it's been corrected.
So you're the engineer on the project?
Yes.
And to your way of thinking, they're gonna have water out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item 16, release of construction.
I'd like to make a motion to release the construction bond and move to a maintenance bond for Round Mountain Reserve Phase 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 17.
All right.
Colorful.
Yes, it is. So, out at, Forest View North, there's an old subdivision there. And a lot of this is gonna be in a floodplain. And so in order to make some of this work, so what we're proposing at 39, 38